Hey guys, Tarke here, and I'm going to do a little update on what I've been playing in my private league, and just sort of natter about some build stuff and run some maps, and basically just kind of, found a free map. Kind of chill. I haven't got that many maps to show you because we've been running everything on Kane's Atlas, and you can see we're still setting up the Atlas. We started our private league, I want to say like 4 days ago? 3 days ago? I've got 1 day, 12 hours played, which sounds about right. I think we've been doing like 6-8 hour sessions every day. Today is Wednesday, the league started on Saturday, so quick maths. But anyway, what is the build I'm currently playing? I am an EB Mind Over Matter Elementalist. I'm currently Incinerate, but to be honest, I could be any skill that's fiery, non-crit related. I started as Brands. I've got a safe house to do after this. Chat, who isn't there because I'm recording this off stream, remind me to do that after this. So we start off as Brands, and I really enjoy Brands. I don't know why, I just seem to get really bored of the playstyle after about 90-ish. I've played Brands to 90 3 times now. I did Armageddon Brand to 92, I believe, on my Trickster. Then I respect it. I did Storm Brand to 90 earlier in the league, and I respect it into Winter Orb. And now I've done Storm Brand, Armageddon Brand, sorry, to 92, and then I respect it last night to Incinerate. I also have a Vol Flame Blast that I'm leveling, and the reason why I picked Incinerate is a lot of people have been playing Incinerate recently. People keep telling me that Incinerate's really good. There's a viewer of mine called Nin who was playing All League who really praised it. I know Rise played Incinerate a couple of leagues back. Skyra played it and was praising it. And then most recently, Mathel's been doing Incinerate Castle Channeling. I don't think I'm really a fan of the whole Castle Channeling meme, but I mean, you can do it if you want, and it seems like that's pretty solid. So I thought, let's jump on the bandwagon and kind of see how we feel, and I'm actually really pleasantly surprised by Incinerate. This is the first time I tried Incinerate out since the rework. When they first announced it, I was very kind of poo-poo on the whole idea. I was like, I don't see the point. Why would you play Incinerate, or you can play Fireball, you can play Flame Blast? It just feels like an awkward in-between. But I think I actually prefer Incinerate to Flame Blast. I'm not sure. I need to try Flame Blast out again. But I'm currently only on a level 19 Incinerate, I believe. I am in a +2 Tabula, so slight cheating there. But we've killed all the Guardians, and we haven't done Shape or anything yet, so we haven't tried to get to anything properly. But with a Ellie Overload setup with very shitty League startery gear and nothing too special, the damage is very, very respectable. It actually seems like a really solid League starter skill. The playstyle, if you enjoy it, which I do, is really solid. The damage is pretty good, and it just kind of, it makes work of things. The only thing that I'm not too fond of is the fact that you have to kind of stand still to channel. So it means that on the big scary bosses where you don't want to be getting hit very often, well, you're spending a lot of time standing still. The reason why I played so much of Corsica this league and enjoyed Corsica so much was the whole fact that I could just tap once and then ignore everything forever. Because it's just like you tap and run in circles for 4 seconds, then tap and run in circles for 4 seconds. And I've always just really enjoyed that run and gun playstyle. And when you have very mobile mobs, as you saw there, and the mobs are running around like crazy, it can be quite frustrating when it's like, okay dude, just stop moving so I can hit you. And then for very scary bosses, or very mobile bosses, like all the Guardians were pretty easy except for Hydra. I actually found quite difficult on this build, because it's like, yo, I kind of want to just stand still and tunnel, and there's all this stuff which keeps interrupting me. But I think that could just be remedied with getting a bit more cast speed, or also just getting a bit more used to the playstyle. I've only just started playing Incinerate today. But other than like a few slight annoyances, I actually really enjoy it. And I also think that if you were playing this on like a Scion, and then you had the really nice Slayer Leech, or you were playing it maybe with some like Namahu's Signs and have loads of life gain on hit, so that you could like face tank a bit more reliably, or maybe even on like an Occultist with crazy ES regen, then I could definitely see the appeal of a League starter with Incinerate, because I think it's definitely there as far as self-cast goes. And it just kind of goes to show that self-cast is, you know, with most things in PvE right now, you can make basically anything work, and while it may not be the strongest, you can kill all the content, right? So if you can kill everything on very little currency, then that's, you know, pretty good ability by my book. Some things that I do want to iron out, as you've probably noticed, is I'm using Vile Righteous Fire in an EB Mom build, which is slightly counterintuitive because when you do Vile RF, you lose all of your energy shield. So EB Mom, it's much like normal Mind Over Matter, basically using the Devouring Diadem Helm. I gain Eldritch Battery, which means I spend energy shield before mana. That lets me reserve all of my mana, and my reservations are a Anger, a Herald of Ash, a Discipline, a Arctic Armor, and a Dread Banner, and I'll get into those while we just keep mapping. And the reason why I've been playing EB Mom, I've actually been wanting to play EB Mom pretty much all league, but I've just never had the right reason to or excuse to. The Essence Drain Occultist character I was planning on playing before I did this whole Realm League start thing. That was with EB Mom, so when me and Kane decided to duo and we both wanted to go for Fire Elemental based stuff, me playing some kind of Fire Elementalist and he's doing a Volatile Dead Auto Miner using Scold, I was like, okay, how can I shoehorn this combo in? And I have to say, having played with it now, even though it's slightly annoying with stuff like Vile Righteous Fire, which is definitely a downside, I think I prefer it to normal Mind Over Matter. Especially since I need to do that safe house. Okay, let me do that now before I forget. Especially since we have stuff like aspects and all of these crazy new reservations becoming available with each new patch. We're getting all these really cool new auras. We've been getting banners. We've been getting aspects being super accessible. Then just heralds are so strong, so on and so forth. Being able to mess around with some reservations feels really, really nice. I've always been a big fan of the Mind Over Matter playstyle, but it just sucks not having, you know, the full flexibility with all the auras. So for one Helm slot, you save yourself a bunch of skill points on the tree, and if you're any tree which goes into Shadow, then you naturally get enough ES nodes that you can get a respectable amount of energy shield. So as you can see, I currently have 2.1k energy shield, and none of my gear is really giving me energy shield. The only way I'm really getting that much ES is mostly from my weapon, which I'll explain in a little bit, but you can see I'm using a Tabula, so I haven't got any like 500, 600, 700 ES chests there. I'm using an armor-based shield, I'm using Nocturnal Harass, and then a shitty pair of boots with 40 ES. So if you went for like a normal set of either pure ES gear or hybrid ES gear, you can very easily get 2 to 3k energy shield with only about 100% increased energy shield on the tree. Now, because of Cerebus's limb, you can even do, you know, a full scuff setup like I have and still get very respectable energy shield numbers. You know, if you were thinking about it, if you had 2.2k mana on a 5.7k life build, you'd be pretty happy with that, you know, for a mom setup. And that's achievable without, you know, having to stack mana on every single piece of gear. So what Cerebus Limb does, and the reason why I'm using it, is it gives me energy shield based on the armor of my shield. So if you use a high armor shield, then you get a bunch of energy shield. So my Cerebus Limb is currently giving me, I want to say, between 800 and 900 energy shield. If we look, we go 2.1k, 1.3k. So yeah, it's giving me about 800 or so ES right there. And that's just from a 1.6k armor shield. I'm using Lana's Remorse just because it was an easy shield which has a lot of life, it had some armor, but also has the 30% block chance. Cerebus Limb also gives you 0.5 spell damage leeches life if your equipped shield has at least 30% block. So the shield gives me a respectable-ish amount of damage. It's giving me like 120% damage, 20% cast speed. Cast speed is very powerful for Incinerate. And then it's giving me some leech, and it's giving me all this ES. Ideally, I'm going to get a proper chest, some proper gear, and then I'll drop the Cerebus Limb out, drop the shield out, and then either run like an actual ES shield or just go for dual Shaper weapons with non-chaos damage gained as chaos damage. And on that note, quickly, I find the current weapon meta really boring because it's like, yo, are you playing a spellcaster? Well, let me tell you, if you're doing any non-chaos damage and you can convert it to chaos damage, then you use those. Those are really powerful. What's that? You're playing cold damage over time. Well, then you just use this like crafted cold damage multiplier on that. What's that? You're playing a chaos damage over time build. Well, you just use those mods instead. I think there's something pretty boring about the whole fuck's sake. There's something really boring, I'll do that later, about the whole every single build has a rare affix now, so we're just using rares for all the weapons. I like rares for... I like that rares are being used over uniques, but it feels kind of bad that uniques have gone so far out the window. It feels like we're in a constant struggle of all this or all that, and it's just, you have these really cool weapons like this, and you feel bad using this, because this is never going to be your endgame weapon. This is always just going to be a, I'll use it for a little bitty kind of weapon. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling now. So, what's my thought process on the build? Would I recommend the build to people? Sure, it's fine, but to be honest, this skill tree is just an Elementalist, and you could pick absolutely any spell. And if you had a skill tree which looks something kind of like this, if you didn't do a fire skill, obviously drop these fire nodes, you could clear all the content, because you can clear all the content with practically anything these days. It's just about picking a skill that you kind of like the feel of, and then having some kind of defense. So the defense in this build is a 7-8k-ish EHP pool. My sustain comes from the Devouring Diadem itself, which regularly heals me every 5 seconds. It heals me for up to 5k life and all of my energy shield, which is very, very powerful. And then I get healed life and ES on kill with my Urn Flask. And then for sustaining on bosses, I use the Pantheon, where my Flask regain charges every 3 seconds if I haven't used a HP pop recently. The Arctic Armor gives me some solid physical and fire damage mitigation when I'm standing still, because obviously whenever I'm doing Incinerate, I'm standing still. So whenever I'm attacking, I'm taking less fizz damage there. Flask-wise, there are lots of different flasks you could use. You could use it in Zeri's Promise. You could go for a full block setup. I currently have 30% block. You could go for up to 50% block, 10% spell block very easily, just using a Rumi's Flask. You could run Vol Grace, so on and so forth, but it's pretty whatever. If you want to make a super face tank version of this build, as I said earlier, I would probably recommend going Scion, or maybe even... I don't know why I did that, whatever. Slightly distracted. Go Scion or maybe even Occultist. But I think for just a perfect League startery build, as this has done me for my new Private League League start, it's been absolutely muy buen. And I will give you guys updates as the character progresses, since we are planning on doing our duo Uber Elder, Uber Zero kill with our really scuffed setups. We definitely have the damage to get the stuff down. Especially since Kane is now doing his Volatile Dead auto miner. Being Volatile Dead, being a miner, being a crit build, he has a very, very high damage ceiling. He's also planning on going low life, as I had a Shavs drop day 1, day 2. Slight streamer RNG. So we definitely have the damage. The main thing is going to be, can we get our defense? And I don't know if I like or dislike that about modern day PoE, since you can kill anything with any build. A lot of the game has warped into just knowing how to group the right items together to enable you to kill the bosses, and then how to form a proper defense around it. So if you're someone who gets very easily frustrated with your builds and you feel like you can't kill anything, maybe just take a look at something like PoE Ninja, see what similar ascendancy, seeing what similar build types are doing. Look at what items they're using. They're using stuff like Lore Weave. Are they doing Mind Over Matter? Are they doing EV Mind Over Matter? You know, how are they getting their EHP up? How are they getting their sustain? Because, you know, getting the damage, you'll naturally always get enough damage. It's just about how do you balance everything together, and then, most importantly, how do you get enough movement speed that you actually enjoy playing the build. But anyway, that's a bit of a ramble of everything that's been going on in the world of Tarke. Other fun and exciting things. I'm planning a Bay class to happen this weekend. They're announcing the new League theme and everything on the 14th of this month. So we're going to do an episode before that predicting some of the cool new stuff. And then, very tentatively, 2nd of March, which is the week before the new League comes out, we are hoping to have a developer on. I've been speaking with Bex, and we're hoping to get either Chris or Rory on the show to break down some of the cool new things coming in the new League. So anyway, I'm Tarke. Sorry it took me so long to get this update out there, but I was struggling getting all the gear together. Expect a lot more of these. Also expect some boss skill footage. We're going to do Shaper tomorrow. And I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.